guys, it's Adia, Erin, and Katie, and we are 29 and chronically online. Before we get into this episode, we just wanted to remind you to follow us wherever you listen to podcasts. We also have an Instagram at 29 and .co and a TikTok at 29 and co. And guess what? We have a YouTube, where you can watch all of our videos. So we love you guys. Thanks so much for listening. Now let's get to the good stuff.
Welcome back to the podcast, everyone. We are 29 and chronically online, and today you may notice we are down one member.
We're down a person.
She turned 30 and we said, you gotta go. No.
I said
I'm
I can
kidding.
only handle one 30-year-old at a time. So
Trying to keep us young. No, Adia just had a previous engagement, and we have a topic that she didn't want to talk about.
she doesn't care about this, which breaks my heart, honestly, because it's such a big part of my life and like part of who I am as a person. So it's like, fine, I guess. But I'm glad that we could talk about it because it'll be still a very fun episode and just like fun to chat about.
Yeah, because we did need this episode, but it may never have happened if Adia had to be here because she didn't want to participate.
We were like talking about topics. She was like, no, I'm okay. Like, you could do that when I'm not here. And I was like, oh, okay, so it's a hatred.
Yeah, right. You're not even gonna sit through the episode. You'll
no
catch us on the other side. So yeah, today I don't know if we even talked about what we're talking about.
We haven't. We've been very, vague.
A little cagey. Yeah. Today we are going to talk about Broadway musicals, baby.
Yes.
I feel like I should start by saying I'm only like a half stan. Like I know some musicals and I've seen one show on Broadway. I've seen a few off Broadway and obviously some movies, but like I love a musical, but like if we're going to talk too much about actors, I'm not going to have as much to say, and that's okay. I would love to hear your thoughts, but I just want to put that out there for the listeners that my knowledge is limited.
I would like to start off by saying my knowledge is what at one point or another in high school I was like, I'm going to musical theater college.
Yeah,
I didn't, but then next best thing, just went to music school. But I have loved like musicals and like Broadway since I was a young kid. Like musical movies, I think is how I really started. And then like once I got older, I was like, okay, on the East Coast, like let's go to Broadway. Let's, think about that. Anyway. But yeah, so what are some of your faves, Katie? I would love to know.
So I do have to start with the ultimate fave for me is Mamma Mia. Yeah.
I love that.
So the thing with Mamma Mia is that started because of the movie. I feel like we're going to get to this, but the movie musicals make musicals way more accessible for the general population. So I do think there's merit there. But my family specifically was obsessed with Mamma Mia. Like we grew up as an ABBA household. We listened to the 18s.
I feel like everyone, like my household, also ABBA household. Like we love ABBA here. Okay.
We love ABBA. And when Mamma Mia came out with Meryl Streep, Amanda Seyfried, like my parents, we were in that theater. And then after the movie, we owned it, obviously. But we had the soundtrack that we would play in the car. And my parents would just keep it, like, it would end and it would run right back. And we'd be listening to yeah. So Mamma Mia was like ingrained, like obviously ABBA specifically, but then like separately Mamma Mia. So I do have to say that's probably my number one, just for like the history there. The other thing is Mamma Mia is the one that I have seen on Broadway.
Okay, love.
Yes. So I do feel like I have to tell a little bit of the story. So
absolutely,
I went to New York with my friend Holly. Shout out Holly. We actually went to see Five Sauce on Good Morning America.
First of all, the lores are connecting. I love it.
Yeah, exactly. Hyperfixations combined. So
Yeah.
while we were there for like a couple days and we were like, what should we do? We're in New York, obviously, but let's go to Broadway. So we ended up just we were like, what do we want to see? We ended up walking up to we were like, Mamma Mia vibes. And we walked up to the box office and they were like, we have two front row tickets that are like obscured for like less than $100 for tonight. And we were like, we'll be sad.
At see you there.
So yeah, so we literally were front row for Mamma Mia, and it wasn't. I mean, they called it obstructed, but it really. I mean, for us, like plebeians who had no idea, like it
No,
wasn't,
literally. Yeah, it's just like kind
And
of off to the side when they're like
yes,
obstructed. It's
exactly.
iconic though.
It was iconic. And then at the end, I don't even remember which song it is. It might be Dancing Queen. Like they end the show with that, and
Mhm.
everybody in the audience was on their feet. And we were basically like on stage because we were so close. Like we were standing, we were
You're like
dancing. So
with the actors. Like,
yeah, yeah, exactly. So
I
it
love
was
that.
just like Mamma Mia has had such a wholesome like experience in my life.
Absolutely.
Oh,
First, I
yes.
love that. I love a good like you see the movie, then you're like so obsessed,
Yeah,
you're like, I need to see the show as well. And then you like go and
yeah,
you're like, this is everything. And especially being
yeah.
front row,
I mean,
iconic.
I couldn't have asked for anything better. Like my only Broadway experience was front row for less than $100.
Honestly,
Like, I
that's a
mean,
steal. You literally robbed Broadway.
I know. I can't do it again. I was trying to when we were in New
No.
York, but it didn't work out. I mean, that was like a once in a lifetime. So,
Yeah. I
but what
love
about you?
that.
What's your number one?
Okay, so my number one is and has always been Hairspray. I love that musical so much. I saw it on Broadway like ages ago when I was, I think it had to have been like, when did the movie come out? Because I definitely saw it before the movie.
I think the movie was 2006 or 7.
Okay, so I was in elementary school when I saw it, and I absolutely like I saw two of my faves, like um who was it? Or maybe it was just one of my faves. I think she was in it. I can't remember. But I'll just say I saw Andrew Reynolds, who's a big Broadway star, as Link Larkin. And I was like, this is perfection. This is absolute perfection. Like, this is everything. And so I saw the Broadway show, was like, I'm obsessed, was constantly listening to the original Broadway cast recording. I was like, this is just changing my life. Like, I mean, the history, the music, the power. I was like, this is just everything. And then the movie, they announced that the movie was coming out and like Zac Efron was gonna be in it. I was like, oh, okay, I'm sat.
Yeah.
I am fully seated.
Yeah.
And then I watched like I watched that, adored it, bought the like
Hmm.
extended dance along version, and then
Yeah.
I was like, I now need to see everything Broadway, or not everything Broadway, everything Hairspray. So I was like watching
Okay.
interviews, watching everything from like the Broadway cast, the movie, and then I was like, oh, there's a
Right.
1985 version that's just the movie and not a musical. So I was like, I need to tune
Oh,
into this. I
interesting.
like
Okay, that sounds bad though.
it was not the best of the three,
Yeah.
I think I went to like Hollywood Videos and like got that picked up and I was like, here we are. Um and so yeah, so life changed by Hairspray, but I love a lot of musicals. Like that definitely one is that like sticks out that has always been my fave, but like
Yeah.
there are some that are like
Tried and true. Yeah.
trying true and like have been top tier for them and I can give them like all the standing ovations. So
Yeah. I mean, that's the thing, Broadway musicals come and go and they're there and live their best life for a reason and then they end
exactly.
and it's okay, and
And it's
something new
okay.
comes along. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. But I'll always have the original Broadway cast recording. So I will stay listening to it.
Nothing wrong with that.
Nothing wrong with that. There's another one that is like probably one of my top five, maybe even
Mhm.
top like three, I would say. And it's called the 25th Annual Putnam County Spelling Bee. It's about these like, I want to say like 7 to 9 kids who are like in a spelling bee. And they like the whole musical is just them like getting prepared for the spelling bee, starting it, and then like we see who, wins at the end. And just like the stress that kids like are put under, but in like a very funny, very comical way of like them singing and they're like telling their stories, telling funny things. And I'm like, this is pure like comedic gold. Anyway,
I
but
love
that has
that.
always been a fave. But I saw that one like not on Broadway, but it was off
Mhm.
Broadway. But I don't know if it was ever like fully on Broadway. But yeah.
Oh, interesting. Like, it was kind of
Hmm.
like a traveling off-Broadway, but, like,
It
may
was
not
like
have
I
been,
saw
like,
it in New York.
stationed.
I
Oh,
saw it in
okay,
New
okay.
York, but it was like not like one of the main stages
Yeah,
that
because they
you
have
like
a lot
hear.
of extra, like, theaters, I guess, or not
Yeah.
extra, but, like, there's a lot of
Like other
theaters.
theaters that are not like
Uh-huh.
the main, like, I don't know,
Mhm,
10 or 15.
mhm.
I don't know how many theaters there are. That could
Well, yeah,
be
because even if you're,
crazy.
like, scrolling for the tickets, you're like, "Alright, here's the big ones," and then it starts to go down, you're like, "Dang, like, who are
Mm-hmm.
these?" Like, and it
Mm-hmm.
yeah,
Who
it's
are
all
these
the
others? Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Do you have,
But
like, a current fave? Like, I know obviously Hairspray is, like, up there, but, like, I feel like a lot within the last 5, 10 years that have
I you're like, please say something recent.
No, 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 I mean, I
Um,
love Hairspray, like, that was a
I don't
vibe.
know. I mean, I loved the Gloria Estefan musical On Your Feet. Like I saw that on Broadway, changed my life. I saw it at the Kennedy Center later. I was like, I love this.
Okay.
Um, I can't remember when that came out, but I don't know. I don't know. What is your like current fave?
I honestly I have no idea. I haven't seen a lot of I've seen a lot
Yeah.
of the musicals, so, like, I know them.
Mm,
Um, so, I mean, we have to talk about it eventually. Hamilton,
I
she
love
was a
it.
she was a bop for a minute there. That's probably, like, the most recent one because I do like, most recent, like, fave maybe, only because I want to see Hadestown.
Mm,
I don't know what's going on with it at all, but I would love to see that.
mm.
I don't know, I feel like there's a lot out there that I would like to see that I haven't, but, like, Hamilton's, like, the most, like, new one in my brain
Yeah.
probably.
I
Even though that's, like, almost 10 years at this point probably, because it was, like, what, 2019?
first of all,
No,
no,
5 years?
no, I think it actually I think it well, I saw it in 2016 and I think it like started in
See?
2015. So like that
Yeah.
first of all, that's crazy that
It
it's
doesn't
been
seem like
like
it,
8 years
but
since
yeah.
it was like just yesterday. But I like I guess well, since we're talking Hamilton, I'll tell you my Hamilton lore.
It's
Uh
gotta come up at some
it has to
point.
come up, especially with this episode. So 2016, we had just graduated college. And me and my friend Bethany, shout out Bethany, we were like, we want to go try to see Hamilton and try to get those
Yeah.
cancellation tickets. So we took a bus from well, we drove up to DC and then took a bus from DC to New York. And we sat we got to the New York streets at 2 a.m., found the Richard Rogers Theater, and there was like already like a 10-person line in front of us. And we said, okay, bet. So we sat
Yeah.
down on the New York streets and we sat there for until 8 p.m. And since we got there on a Saturday, and so it was like two shows, so we had two chances that we could be let in for these cancellation tickets, and we were like, okay, this is good. And so the like matinee show comes on. They're letting people in,
Mhm.
and they stop at like five people deep, and we're like, oh, okay, like we still have another chance, but this is, it's getting kind of
And
dicey because
Saturday
like
night, people are ready to go out,
exactly. And
like
like,
yeah.
are people going to cancel tickets or are people going to like do whatever? Anyway, so we are standing there. We have made a friend with like two other people in line. One I'm still friends with. Shout out Alexa. They listen to this podcast. So shout out them for real. And then this other lady who was like a line sitter, she was chitty chatting with us, just gabbing, was fighting people. Like it was great. And so we were sitting there and, it's like tons of things are happening. The city's alive now. Like people are coming in. Also, let's preface this. This was the week before the Tonys when like Hamilton like swept the Tonys.
Okay,
So
yeah.
they were going to go, like, they were practicing for the, like, number and, like, everything that they were doing at the Tonys. So we're sitting by the stage door, like, our seat in line was right in front of the stage door. Then they cut everyone off and, like, pushed them all the way back. So we were, like, right in the front by the stage door. Back before he was canceled, James Corden walks in. We're like, "Oh my gosh," like, in 2016, like, that was cool.
Yeah.
And then, like,
Yeah.
we see, like, Leslie Odom Jr., we see, like, Lin-Manuel first of all, love. We see
Yeah.
Lin-Manuel Miranda, we see, like, Daveed Diggs, we see, like, all the, like, original cast of Hamilton, like, walking in, like, I get pictures with some of them, and, yeah, so I was like, me and Bethany were like, even if we don't see the show, like, we met all
We've
these people.
succeeded.
Like, this
Yeah,
is so
yeah.
cool. And so we were like chitty chatting with our line friends, and then like the guy who works the like outdoor and like works the stage door for Hamilton was like becoming our friend, like befriended us, and like he was
Well,
just
you'd
like
been there
being
for, like,
nice.
12
We've been
hours at that point.
exactly. He was just like being so nice to
6 more to
us and
go.
like exactly, and was like chitting chatting with us, which in the long run, good thing for us. So we get up to the like they start calling, people. They're like, okay, you two go in. And so we're me and Bethany are like standing, we're like two people, like two groups of people are in front of us, and we're like, okay, please, like let us in. And then the like two groups, like the line sitter and then someone else like had cut in front of her and they start like fighting. And so they're
Well,
like
you guys had
fighting.
been there. I mean, they'd been there since 2 a.m. or earlier too, so
Exactly.
you'd all been
They were
there
like
for,
they were like, "We were
like
sat here before." We were like, "We've been sitting
yeah.
here for at least 2 a.m. and then
Yeah.
before, like, you were not sitting here." And so
Yeah.
the guy who was, like, in charge of the stage
Well,
door,
yeah,
in
because
charge of the
'cause he's been
thing,
there too.
he was like, "Stop fighting." And then he was like, "You too," and pointed to me and Bethany, and he was like, "You're in." And we were like, "Oh my god, oh my god, oh my god, this
Because
is
you
so
weren't
embarrassing."
fighting, you guys were good
We're
model
running,
citizens.
literally, we're running into the thing. Bethany throws her credit card into the thing because it's like two
Yeah.
minutes before like curtain is up. And so
Yeah.
Bethany throws her credit card into the thing. We're like both shaking, like, oh my gosh, what's happening? We get our tickets, we run up to the thing, and we're like sat, and then the like lights go down, curtain goes up, and we're like, we're still shaking because of like what's happening. Anyway, so we saw Hamilton with the original Broadway cast. It was like a couple weeks before like the cast started like leaving, and like after they had done like the off Broadway, then Broadway, and like all that run. So it was like, oh, such an amazing experience. But
See, this episode needed to happen just for that story. Like, it's so incredible, Erin.
it was like so crazy. And then me and Bethany were like, had told people like in Richmond that we were like, oh, like, so we told some people, a select few, we were like, oh, we're gonna try, but we didn't tell
Yeah.
everyone. And then we just posted a picture of ourselves like with the
Yeah.
playbill, like in the Richard Rodgers Theater, and we were like in the room where it happened, and people were like, because remember, like back in 2016, it was like so hard to get those tickets. It was
I mean,
literally like
even to I mean,
life or
to this
death.
day, I mean,
True.
I mean, that show is wild how
No,
popular.
literally.
It's it's so wild, which is
It
why
was
they did an amazing thing with that Disney Plus release,
yeah,
honestly, because
yeah.
I mean, there's a couple others that stand out that, like, have done that, but a lot of them get turned into, like, the actual musical or, like, the
Mm-hmm.
movie, and it's like,
Mm-hmm.
what if I just wanna watch it? You know what I mean? Like, what if
Yeah.
I just wanna, like I just wanna see the stage, like, I don't obviously, the songs are there, but, like, I don't
Mm-hmm.
necessarily need all this back, like,
Yeah.
the
It's
movie
like
budget.
I feel like because some who was it doing it? It was like NBC or like someone was like started doing musicals like I can't remember because there was one someone did Hairspray and someone did like Sound of Music, was it?
Like, the
And but
recordings or,
like
like, the movies?
the movies, but like they were
Okay.
musicals, and then like it was like
Was it Universal? Because Universal did
I just remember it
mm.
was like a network television like
Oh, I know what you're
station.
talking about. Okay, yeah,
Yeah.
because was it Ariana Grande who was in Hairspray?
Yeah,
Like,
she
that whole
was
thing? Okay.
she was
Yeah, yeah,
Penny. Yeah,
yeah.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
And
maybe it was
vocally, obviously
NBC.
iconic,
Well,
but like
yeah.
I was just like, this,
Okay,
she's
those, though, are bad. Like,
I know.
they're
It was
like
It was something like
It
I
was
love
something. That was a movie.
I love that they tried. And I
Yeah,
like the
yeah,
idea of it,
yeah.
but them just it
Was it
was
Grease too? They did Grease. That
yes, yes.
yeah, that one to me stands out.
That
But
one
why did they do that?
didn't they do I'm pretty sure they did Sound and Music and like Carrie Underwood was Maria.
Wait, I'm Googling this. I
I
don't
have
remember the Sound of Music
to
at all.
I'm like 95% sure.
Oh my God. Let me see. What should I search? Like NBC,
I'm
like
just Sound of
oh,
Music Carrie
NBC
Underwood.
Live. Okay, here
Yes,
we go.
in
Here we go.
2013.
Wait, what the fuck is this?
Okay, so it was like we love Carrie.
Like, we're kidding.
We love
Like,
Carrie, but like the vocals
we
were not
do.
vocaling like they
Well,
were
okay, she's not a little German.
exactly
I mean, who's German, right? Like Julie Andrews ain't, but like,
she's not Julie Andrews is what it
no.
is. But I was
Yeah.
just like, this is crazy.
Wait, I hate this. Oh my
You have to go home
God.
and watch it. It was
I will
so
not be doing that.
it was so wild.
Oh my
But
God.
I that
Okay.
like so when we talk about like
Well, that had to
them
be the
putting
first then.
musicals in movies, this is not what we're talking about. We're talking
No.
about like
Yeah.
what they did with like Mean Girls, or we're talking
Yes.
about what they did with
Les
Hamilton and
Mis.
film. Yes, Les Mis. We're talking about well, I have thoughts on Les Mis and we'll get to it.
Oh, I
But
have thoughts on Les Mis too. Not good ones.
not good ones. Um
Okay.
we
Bias.
will but like what they did with Hamilton of like actually filming the Broadway cast like
Just,
on stage and doing that. They also did that with Legally Blonde the musical, which is another one of my faves.
Ooh, okay.
So like
I need to see that one.
those good. It's on YouTube. I watched
Oh,
that one
okay. Okay.
religiously. Yeah.
Okay.
Um it was funny because MTV was like, "We're doing Legally Blonde the musical." And I was like, "That's random, but okay."
Yeah.
But yeah, so those kind of
Especially for
filming,
such
yes,
like
this one
iconic
not.
roles, because like when you think about, I mean, we're kind of going back to Hamilton, but like Leslie Odom Jr. is Aaron Burr. Like, I needed to see that. Like,
Literally everyone needs to see and not just like hear it from the like soundtrack. You need to see that
yes,
man act. That's why he got
yes.
best actor. Like
Because
that's
I
why
forgot the founding fathers were white after that. Like, I'm not kidding.
they're
I was like,
not
that
not
is
to
my
me,
Aaron Burr.
not my
Yeah.
founding fathers.
No, no, that man embodied like
Literally.
yeah, yeah.
Literally.
So, like that is the kind of shit they need to keep doing. Like we
Mhm.
want to see like obviously I don't know because okay, we're going to get to movie musicals like separately. I feel like that's last
We
because
can
we just
move
have
to
some
it if you
thoughts.
want.
You
Like we
think?
can go there.
Because
Yeah.
I just have there's like sometimes issues for me with like the casting of the movie musicals because
Yes.
clearly like people on Broadway are trained for certain things and then when you get movie stars they're not always trained to do what Broadway does. So
Absolutely.
that's where you get into like
Let's talk about
it
it.
gets dicey. Yeah, it gets
Let's talk about
dicey.
it. Let's talk about Mean Girls, the musical.
First, okay.
The movie that
Yeah.
just came out
Uh-huh.
recently. First of
Mhm.
all, I love Mean Girls the musical. Let's
Yeah.
not get that twisted. I
And the
love
original
the
movie. I mean,
and the original movie,
yeah.
iconic. I
Yeah.
love that they created a movie musical about it.
Mhm.
Did I need them to cast a better Katie? Yes.
That's my biggest gripe at the moment. Just
And I think
generally,
that's the only gripe I have because
yeah.
when they didn't cast a Katie who could carry Katie's part vocally, they had to
Yeah.
change other parts of the like music, the movie, and then it kind of became jumbled. And I was
Mhm.
like, I don't like it it also like changed some
It
of the
changes the
like story.
characters.
It changes the
Yeah.
character and changes like the storyline of like how like okay, we're gonna I'm getting too deep into this, but that's fine.
No,
I'm getting
I
kicked
have
in as well.
like Angry Rice. Like I don't know why it's because she's like a nepo baby. Like why is she there? Like she
Yes.
was not even like Katie Heron
Yes.
is the lead, right? Like obviously Regina is the lead, but like Katie is
Literally.
also. So like for her to not be able to carry,
I mean, the
you're
story is about
you're not the
her.
lead
Like she came
anymore.
from Africa. She
Yeah.
is exactly. And
Yeah.
them having to change like different songs to like have Damien sing it or
Mhm.
have like it changes how the story is. One example, Apex
Mhm.
Predator, my absolute favorite song in that. It's supposed to be Katie and Janice singing. Janice starts singing and she's like, you got to be warned, like Regina George ain't it, blah, blah, blah. And then the second verse is Katie Heron. And it's like, like Janice is great, but she's not Regina. Regina has all this thing. And it's like going through the mindset of like Katie as she's like going with the plastics and following Regina and all this stuff. But in the movie, they like change it so Damien is singing it and like they're warning her, but like it's not as in
It doesn't go further.
depth as in deep as like as it is in the
Mhm.
musical. So I was like, I don't really like that. Also, I'm just like going to be able to hit these notes.
Yeah. I mean,
You cannot.
they should have just cast someone, even if they were a nobody that could like carry it. You know what I
It
mean?
would have almost have been better if it was a nobody
Mhm.
who could have carried it, or like bring the girl who was Katie
Well,
on
yeah.
Broadway. Like, I
I
mean,
mean,
Renee
Sabrina
Rapp, like
Carpenter did
obvious.
it.
First of all, Sabrina Carpenter would have loved to see more of that. Too bad COVID
I
happened.
know, I know.
It, which is so tragic. But like Renee Rapp, like was in the
Yeah.
musical, like she was Regina. Bring
Mhm.
homegirl, I forgot her name, but bring her.
Yeah. Oh my God. And I just feel like it's turning into this whole thing with Erin Samuels too. Because at one point they had Cameron Dallas on Broadway. Like who did that? And that leads us into my homeboy. Why did I just forget his name? You know him.
I don't feel like I don't
Christopher
ever know.
Briney. Christopher Briney.
Yes. Okay.
Yeah.
I
I don't
feel
know
like I
why I
never
just
know his
blanked.
name, but I don't let I
Yeah.
like know who he is. If
Yeah.
I see his name, I'm like, oh, that's him, but I don't know
Mhm.
it. Like,
Because the thing is I remember like they asked him about this when they were doing promo for the film, like press for the
yeah.
film. They were like, "Oh, like no singing parts." And he was like, "Well, I originally turned it down because I didn't." I was like, "I'm not like I can't like he can sing, I guess like technically." But he's like,
Like
"I'm
technically
not."
everyone can sing, but
Yeah,
he's
yeah,
like,
yeah.
I'm not a vocalist. I'm
And
not
he
gonna do
did sing
that.
in The Summer I Turned Pretty, and it was everybody laughed at him. So he was
Yeah.
like, "I'm not gonna sing, but thank you for thinking of me or whatever." And then they came back and they were like, well, "What if you didn't have to sing?" And he was like, "Sure, like I'm down." But like, why are we compromising for you know what I mean? Like
It also is like Aaron Samuels is supposed to be this like heartthrob, like, but also, and I was just like, he's just not giving. He's not giving, even like
he's like a
acting
heartthrob in a
wise,
different way. Like,
in a
because
different
I
way,
was
but
like,
like not
I
the
do love
way.
him, but like
Mm.
he's not give like it's like the Katie thing. Like he's also almost like a little bit of a lead, and he like wasn't in this like at
Yeah, he's
all.
supposed to have like, even if he doesn't have like tons of lines,
Mhm.
like his name is brought up every other sentence sometimes.
Yes.
And like
Yeah.
he just needs to have that presence. And I didn't feel it in the movie.
Yeah. Yeah. I agree. I mean, his I'm less concerned about. Like, it is what it
Yeah, like
is.
I was like, okay,
Angry
whatever.
girl. Yeah.
I was also, yeah, that is the biggest problem. He like
Yeah.
he's a
He's
big
in the
name currently. He's a
background. Yeah.
background, he's a big name currently, and like
Hmm.
a bunch of the like, Team Conrad people, they were there in the movies sat. So it's
Yeah.
like I get
And
it.
that's fine. Yeah. We're good
I
with
get it.
it. Yeah.
But homegirl who is Katie, mm-mm.
Yeah.
I needed
I
different
feel like they
choices.
should have maybe waited another year or two for this movie too. Like, it feels like for some reason, like so rushed. I don't know
Mm,
why. It
mm.
just felt like it was here all of a sudden, and it
Yeah.
existed. Also,
I
they didn't
personally
market it
have
as a
been
musical.
First of all, yeah. A lot of people were like, "Wait, why are they singing it?"
Yeah.
And I was like, "Don't be rude, first of all."
But it was
But
weird. Why did they do that?
it was weird, but I personally have been waiting for like the Mean Girls musical for
Oh,
ages, like, or
okay.
the movie, and I knew it was like coming out, so I had been waiting for it,
Yeah.
and so I was ready. But
Okay.
I do feel like promo was rushed, and it was just like,
For the GP, it felt public. For the Gen
right.
Pop,
You were like,
all of a sudden it was here.
I was here.
And they did the
But
same thing. This is not like Broadway, but with Wonka, like they
mm,
also did not market that as a
yeah.
musical. So like
Mhm.
what is the vibe right now
I was
with like
shocked when I saw a
Hollywood?
clip of like Timothy singing. I was like, what's
Yeah.
happening?
Yeah. Yeah, that was wild. He didn't even audition for that. The casting director, or like whoever, like just saw one of his YouTube videos from,
Oh
like, high
yeah.
school, and they were
First of
like
all, iconic though. We've all seen the
yeah,
video. We've all
we've
seen
all
it.
seen it. We've all been there.
Yeah.
Digital footprint who, but, yeah.
Clearly, we don't know.
Oh my gosh. I would love to get into Les Mis next, like, because that movie
Absolutely.
musical for me, did you have more about like Les Mis the musical, or are you like movie musical for Les Mis?
I well, first of all, I was in Les Mis in high school,
Oh,
and so I saw
okay.
like I was in it, so I lived that for like 4 or 5 months. Then I was like I saw it on the um
Okay. Yeah, the
traveling
off-Broadway
cast.
circuit thing. Mhm.
Yeah. I haven't seen it on Broadway, but I saw it like traveling cast a bunch of times, like Kennedy Center in Richmond at
The
it was
Altria or whatever, that one.
yeah. And so
Yeah.
then while I was in it, the movie was coming out like a
Mhm.
couple weeks after like like our show ran.
Mhm.
So we all like obviously went to go see it. It was a lot. It
Like a
was
lot after of Les Mis, or just
well, a
like
lot of Les
the
Mis
movie?
at once, but also the movie
Yeah.
was a lot too.
Yeah.
Let's talk about the things we like about it, and then go into the things we might not.
Okay.
You're like
The things
nothing.
the things I liked were
I I
actually
the thing I
I
like is the idea of them all singing it live.
Oh,
I like the
okay.
idea of singing it live
Mhm.
while they're filming it.
I did like some of the casting.
Okay,
Mm,
yeah, same.
mhm.
Like we
Um,
knew that Hugh Jackman, like obviously we knew he was going to be
and
Sean
Gerard
Beller.
Butler, like, I love him. Mr. Phantom of the Opera himself. Like, oh, you didn't?
I was like, oh, it was a choice.
It was a choice.
It was a
Okay,
choice that they made.
Eddie Redmayne, my
Okay,
king.
that one we love, we
My
stand.
king. Yeah, that one. And because he was kind of an unknown at the time, too, generally speaking. Like, I think he had been in
Mm-hmm.
a few other things around the same time, but like that was his big moment for sure. I also love an Amanda
Wait,
Seyfried moment.
pause. Who was Gerard Butler
Wait,
in
am
Les
I thinking
Mis?
of the right person? Hold on. Let me look.
No,
Les...
it's what's it,
Russell
Rob
Crowe.
or Russell Crowe. That's like, wait a minute. I was like, wait.
Wait.
I was like, that doesn't seem right.
Okay, that makes a lot more sense because I was watching Phantom of the Opera last night and I was like, this man did like this 10 years later and he looks so different. No, that was my bad.
Okay.
Sorry. That
Okay.
was
We can
okay.
erase.
That casting choice.
Okay, good. Because you said, wait, I love him. And then I was like, am I
When I
delusional? Like,
thought
is
it
I?
was Gerard Butler, I liked it better.
I was like, am I crazy? Like, did I? Okay. So the the real
Yeah.
casting of Russell
Yes.
Crowe as Javert, no.
No.
That you jump off the bridge faster, sir. Like that was not
Yeah.
it.
Yeah.
Um,
But I love Amanda Seyfried. She was
yes.
my Mamma Mia queen and she
Look,
can sing.
Amanda Seyfried can do no wrong.
100%
Okay,
agree.
like
100%.
Mean Girls, Mamma
Yeah,
Mia,
yeah, yeah,
Les Mis, like all the things we've talked about already. She's been in, and we're like
yeah.
obsessed. So
Yes, exactly. I also liked Erin Trevette. I don't remember what the
yes,
character, like
Erin
the
Tveit, we
name of, but
love
and he's in
Entourage.
Sweeney Todd right now.
First of all, that's another thing we need to talk about. This episode is going to be 2 hours long. Um, because Aaron Tveit, he is everything. My friends recently went up to New York to go see him because my friend Haley, shout out Haley again, she is obsessed with him and she goes to all the like shows that he does. And I love that for her because I wish I could do it. She saw him in Sweeney Todd with Sutton Foster, the Queen. Um, she said it was amazing. She was like, "This
Yeah.
is," and it's like on TikTok, and I'm like, "I wish I was there. I want
Yeah,
to see
he
it."
is just like so good. And it's funny because, okay, so another thing hindering my Les Mis experiences, I'll give you a little background. So the first time, and this was the first time I'd
Okay,
seen Les Mis in general, like I hadn't seen the Broadway, I hadn't listened to any of the set, anything, was when the movie came out in 2011. And it came out at
Yeah.
Christmas, and
Okay.
we were in California. We went on Christmas Day. Love that for us.
I love
We
that.
were also
I
in
think
the
I went
front
December
row.
26th. Like,
Yeah.
mhm.
Yeah. So we were in the front row and, straight up, which is fine. Like I had an experience and it was fine. It was a
Mhm.
time. And then the
Yeah.
only other time that I've seen Les Mis was a few weeks ago when I saw it in Dolby when they released it in theaters, and I had a head splitting migraine. And it was
That
just a
is
bad
crazy.
experience. I mean, bombs were going off. We were being flashbanged in this theater, and I was like
Yeah.
sitting like this.
Yeah.
Like, I can't be here. So my experiences with Les Mis have
Spend I
been
can't.
not great.
Yeah, not the best.
Yeah. So just kind of mid. Like
I
we
like
were watching it and the cinematography is so random. Like
mm,
there are random points where the camera is just shaking. Like it's just shaking. It's supposed to be like a shot of just Anne Hathaway singing, but the camera's like it's not a
mm,
style choice. It's like
yeah.
someone's holding the camera wrong.
Someone couldn't. The camera
You
was
need
too heavy for that person, and they
yeah.
just put
They needed like a
it. Get a
tripod. So it was just
stand.
like
Come on.
there was just like a lot of random things happening there where I was like,
Yeah,
I'm a fan of this. I don't know.
that's so funny. I understand. Like the movie was not like it was not the greatest, but it was still like a good movie musical. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like
Mhm.
for when it was put out and then like the
Yes.
movie musicals we've seen, I'm like, this
Yeah.
one is a better adaptation, but the musical stays being obviously the top tier one. Uh but
It's
okay,
also
yeah.
just kind of mid. Like, I don't know. When I think about other musicals in general, like I know it definitely has like its place. It's obviously huge worldwide, billions of dollars and whatnot. But
Nick Jonas was in it.
oh my God, couldn't I forgot it was Les Mis. I just knew he was there.
Yeah, he
But
was what's his name? Can't remember. Not
yeah,
Alondra Ross, his friend, the like main
yeah.
guy that falls in love with what's her name? Why
And
did I
like there
not
definitely
think of characters like
I
look up
know.
characters before? I'm
Because
like,
there's
oh yeah.
definitely
Anyway.
some songs that are like amazing, but it's like Anne Hathaway's character, I could take it or leave it. Like I know that's like propelling the story, but then it's like I love like, do we hear the people sing? Sing? Like
Yeah. Like
we
it's
love
an
her.
iconic. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah. So it's got its moments for sure.
Yeah,
But
it definitely I feel like it also is such a long movie. And it's just
maybe
like
that's it.
it takes you through so many times because you're like, okay, like at the beginning, and then you cut to a time like then they're living, and then it's like then the end,
Yeah.
and you're like, oh my gosh, this is
You're
forever.
actually you're really right because it takes you 100 places. Like
Mm-hmm.
you're watching
Mm-hmm.
Jackman, then you're watching Anne Hathaway, then you're back
Mm-hmm.
to Hugh, and then you're at Russell Crowe, and you're like, I get
Yeah.
it, they're all intertwined, but it's a whole, I mean, it spans like 40 years in like real
Literally. And
time.
they
Like,
also like in the movie they add songs that are not. They're like, you know what? This needs more music. Add a
wait,
song or two.
I didn't know that. Do you happen to know which songs, just out
Like
of curiosity?
know that the song of like him in the carriage with Cosette, that's her name.
Okay,
Him in the
okay,
carriage with Cosette and I think taking her away from the Thenardier's house. It's like a slower song.
okay. Yeah, yeah,
I
yeah.
can't remember the other ones, but
That's okay. That's wild. The thing with Les Mis, I was talking to Scott because I was like, okay, I'm going to the movie. You can come. Obviously, he's not a big fan of musicals. And he was like, well, how much of a musical is it? And I was like, there's no words in that movie. There's just, it's literally all
yeah.
songs.
Like
It's
Les Mis
literally
was made
a
as an
hundred
opera,
percent.
so it's like
Yeah.
100% singing,
Yeah.
no actual words.
Because there
No
are
talking.
other, I mean, obviously there's tons of musicals that have like dialogue in between, but it's like, no, it literally,
No,
so
it's an
it kind
opera.
of,
Yeah.
yeah, it kind of makes sense that they made some extra songs for like transitionary periods, like
Mm.
that,
Hmm.
because what are you
I
going
mean,
to do
yeah,
otherwise? Like,
exactly. Like
you're not putting words
just
in people's mouth.
cut to the next scene, like boom,
Yeah.
boom, boom, like crazy.
So yeah, Les Mis is a time.
Les Mis is a time, and it will always hold like a split in my heart because I was in it, saw it like 15 times, saw the movie, and then okay, I'm Les Mis'd out still. So
It's
oh
just too
well.
much. Okay, who do we want to talk about next? Oh, I
Other
would like to talk
movies.
about Phantom of the Opera since I just rewatched
Oh
it.
yeah, let's talk about it.
Okay. Have you seen, you've obviously seen the movie or musical or both? Okay.
Both.
Okay. I have only seen the movie. It was one that was like a staple growing up. Like I don't remember watching it that often, but I know Nikki had it on often, like on our DVD players or whatever.
Hmm.
And I rewatched it last night in preparation for this, and it holds up. She was
Yeah.
good.
Hmm.
She was a
Hmm.
good movie adaptation, in my opinion. Like the art direction, I mean, some of the numbers were kind of boring, but like I don't really care about like the opera. Like, and those were obviously like scenes in the movie.
Yeah. Yeah.
um, but I like the movie itself, like as a whole, okay, and also the casting, because they had Emmy Rossum, one of her first big
Yeah.
roles.
First of all,
Gerard
iconic.
Butler. Yeah, Gerard Butler.
We got him right. Yeah.
My king. Which is wild to think about. And then Patrick Wilson, who
Mm.
you may know from Insidious
Yeah.
fame, which this was his first big thing too. Well, like movie wise, I guess he was on Broadway for a bit, and
Mm.
also he's from Norfolk, so shout out my king. Um,
Shout out.
but yeah, I was watching yesterday and I was thoroughly surprised at how well it held up like 20 years later because it's from 2004. We love her.
Mm. We love, honestly, like I do really love Phantom of the Opera. Like I saw it on Broadway in the like last two rows of the theater, but like still I
It
was
counts.
there in it. Then I saw the movie and I was like, wow, this is so great. It's still, I think it was like as a kid I was like, oh, this is kind of creepy, but I still like loved the music and I was like, I'm tuned in. So it wasn't like a staple for my youth, but I still like, well, the songs
Yeah,
were staples. Me actually watching it was not, but
yeah.
like, you know, it like that sometimes. Um, but yeah, so I really it's it's so good and such a
Yeah,
classic.
it's interesting because I was looking things up
So
about it yesterday while I was watching, just because I love knowing things about things. Like when I'm like, what is going on with
for
this?
sure.
It is the only movie adaptation of Phantom of the Opera because, well, there's been a couple others because it's based on a book.
Mm,
It wasn't a musical until the 80s, so some of the
mhm,
movies predated it. But this was the first movie adaptation that was not a horror adaptation of Phantom of the, which
mhm.
obviously, like, he's killing people in the theater, so love that because they put a new spin on it, I guess, because it was
Yeah.
more drama, more
Mhm.
romance, less like
Mhm.
slasher.
Mhm. Mhm. Less like Phantom in the dark like
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah, exactly. So I don't know. I feel like for the time, and I've read that Andrew Lloyd Webber was like, pick whoever you want, make them as unknown as you want, but make them like young. Like we want, like, I don't want 40-year-olds playing these characters. And I was like, interesting.
Mm. Mhm.
Yeah.
It also, I mean, I guess it makes sense with like where they're just like some like at least the girlies on stage, they're like young opera singers who are like, so you don't want, I mean, I guess they have like older ones, but the people weren't
Yeah.
coming for older
Yeah.
biddies.
Part of the story is
Interesting.
like Christine is like, was basically groomed by the Phantom. So she shouldn't be too old anyway. Like she should still be
Yeah, yeah,
right,
yeah.
right. Like her being like 17 or 18 kind of makes sense. Like she's still
Yeah.
learning and like whatnot.
Mhm.
So
Mhm. What a
um
time.
I don't
Gosh.
have much to say about this musical. You might. We have to talk about Cats. So
I have nothing to say about it besides
oh, just at all.
the
Okay.
fact it's not the vibe. Just no one needs to be in like a full body leotard. So I
You are so right for that. Yeah, because it's also
yeah,
like
the
the
like acting like
choreography
yeah,
and
yeah, yeah, yeah.
the
Just everything is not the
it's
vibe.
off-putting at the minimum. The thing with Cats and the reason it has to be brought up is because it was a staple in my home, unfortunately,
Which is
because
crazy. Like you
because
said
Nikki
that and
liked
I
it.
was shout out Nikki. Like
I have to say,
you
it was not me. I just remember like we consistently were checking that movie out VHS from Blockbuster, and I think at one point we owned a copy.
oh my
Nikki
gosh.
just had that shit on, and I don't know any of the songs. I don't know anything because I just like whenever it was on, I was like, I hate it here. Like I hate it here.
I really need to like know, like find out what the like draw was for her. Like I know she has her hyperfixations, but like that is crazy.
I wish I could tell
So I
you.
don't know.
Yeah, that one is wild to me.
Nikki, come on the pod, like tell us.
I know she's asleep now. That's what she said. But yeah, I was just like, when I was
Dang.
reflecting on this episode, that came back to me, and I was like, whoa, whoa. Because I don't remember. I mean, I don't know any of the songs, I don't know
You're like,
anything about
I'm
it.
scared. What?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Also that movie music, because okay, the one that we had was very similar to like what I'm thinking of Hamilton, where like they just recorded in the Legally Blonde, it sounds like, where they recorded just the stage, you
Oh,
know.
okay.
But
This
the one
stage.
that came out in
Mm.
like 2019 or whatever with like the CGI cats and James Corden.
Take it
Yeah.
back. Take it back. First of all, you're King Jason Derulo.
Was he in that? Oh no. See, I fell off. After that second album, I fell off.
I'm pretty sure. Hold on. Yeah. Cats the
I know
movie.
James Corden was in it. I
Oh
know
god.
Taylor Swift was in
Yeah.
it.
They
Um,
just like pulled a bunch of people.
they did. They
Jason.
did. Oh my God, not him being the
Yeah.
third billed person on IMDb. Oh no, Idris
Yeah.
Elba. Oh no.
Yeah. Oh gosh, here's a
Okay,
it's
okay,
rough.
he doesn't look as bad on him as I was expecting. Some of
I
these
mean, they had that CGI, but
Jennifer Hudson, Rebel Wilson. Oh my
it
God.
was like a cast. It
Ian
was a
McKellen.
cast.
Yeah, what
Girl.
the hell?
Girl.
I just remember, we saw promo for it and everybody was like, we're not watching this. And then I never heard a thing about it again. Like it's just, it
It
released
was
and it was gone.
it was terrorizing my timeline in the way
Mhm.
that not the clips were, but people talking about how terrible and like how scary it was in
Yeah.
the way that these actors are just like in their cat's
Yeah.
costumes.
So I can't speak too much on that or cats in general, but it definitely was around.
Honestly can't either. Like I've heard the music, but I have not seen it. And I've seen clips, but I don't want to see it. I don't want to see it.
Mm-mm. No. Oh my
Um,
gosh. We have talked about it a little bit already, but I feel like it needs a moment. Sweeney Todd.
Obsessed.
Same.
Obsessed.
Yeah.
Um I I was thinking about all the musicals that I saw yesterday, and I was like, did I see Sweeney Todd on the stage, or did I just remember that I did and didn't? But I'm like 5% that I saw it on stage, like at one point. But definitely saw the movie with Johnny Depp.
I also love it. I
It's
was reflecting, it does feel kind of long, like Les Mis kind of long. Because
so
I was watching it, like I watched it pretty recently I did like a Halloween watch of like just kind of Halloweeny type stuff, and that was one of them.
mm,
And I was just like, wait, like this is kind of I think it's like 2 or 2.5 hours, which was kind of
okay, an hour
wild.
and 56 minutes.
See, okay, see 2 hours. That's what I'm saying. Like something about that feels a little like the story's not that complex. Still love. Like, I mean,
Ooh.
iconic. It's definitely like
Oh, absolutely.
unique, you know?
Mm-hmm. Definitely. I love the songs. I am dying to see it on Broadway, like this adaptation, but I live
Yes.
on the other side of the country, so that's probably not going to happen until they go on tour.
Very true.
But yeah, fair
Nikki
enough.
was just telling me because we were talking about it a little bit earlier, and I was like, "You were into cats, right?" And she was like, "Also Sweeney Todd," and
She was like,
it,
"Don't just say."
yeah, and I was like, "I don't remember that," and she was like, "I remember watching it at a very impressionable age," and I was like, "It didn't come out until 2000, like the movie, I mean, I know the musical was
Mm,
out, but we definitely didn't see like the musical."
mm.
She told me she watched it on someone's iPod in 2007. Like, talk
That's
about a moment.
iconic. Like that's what
Yeah.
we had to do back in the day sometimes. Like
Yeah.
we're
I
all
bet
on
like
like an iPod touch just like
that's what I'm
watching
saying. Like someone bought it on Apple and they were just like, it's on my iPod if you want to
for
watch
like
it.
15.99. They said, "Come on, let's watch it."
Yeah. So
So
so funny
crazy.
that both of our sisters were into it. Like, I mean, I liked it,
Yeah.
but it wasn't like
Mm-hmm.
groundbreaking.
Mm.
I don't know.
I think it was just like different from like the other musicals that because it is like horror,
Mhm.
musical. And
Yeah,
it's just different from the other ones that were around like at the same time. So
that's true. That's true.
so good. What else?
I know, I can't think of I mean, obviously, there's, like, hundreds more,
Right, like
like,
I have a
I
whole
mean,
list of like the ones I've seen, but we don't need to mention all of them. Like,
not if they don't stand out to you for any
let's talk
particular
about I have one that I don't think you've seen. But let's talk about it. Wicked.
I have seen Wicked.
Oh,
I saw
right.
it off
Okay, okay.
Broadway.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes, 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 yes.
I
Okay.
don't have many thoughts about it. Well, I have thoughts about the movie coming out.
Yeah, 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 definitely. So Wicked, I have always been obsessed with the soundtrack. Like even before I saw it, I was like, this is everything. And hearing like Christian Chenoweth and like Adina
Mhm.
Menzel,
Yes.
like those girlies, they got
Mhm.
me. Like I saw both of them separately in like different things that they were doing, and I was like, these are my girls.
Yes.
Um, my mom surprised us with tickets to the show. One, we get there at the Kennedy Center and we're like, okay, like we're ready. One, we walk in, there's standing room only tickets. So I was like, I'm about to be standing for the next like 2 or so hours in
Yeah.
like, was it elementary or middle school like that I went, and I was like, like so tired, like I'm dying. Um, and so like want to see that. Two, the plot. The plot is just like not good. And so I was like for something groundbreaking because everyone's like, oh, Wicked is my favorite musical, like la la la. Like
Mhm.
you ask so many like musical theater biddies, they're like, Wicked shaped me, like Wicked is my favorite musical, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, okay, but weird. Like the music, obviously. The plot, I was like, here I am just sitting.
Okay. I'm really glad you said that because I think that's why I don't have much to say about it because when we saw it off Broadway or like on the traveling circuit or
Mhm,
whatever, like I
mhm.
did like it. Like the music is so iconic and we
Yeah.
love. And
Mhm.
like obviously, like you said, Kristen, Adina, like amazing, groundbreaking, earth shattering. But I remember being like kind of like bored with the plot
It's
specifically. And
underwhelming when
yeah,
like keep hearing about it and you're like,
yes.
everyone's like, this is amazing, this is amazing. And then you see it and
Hmm.
you're like, wait, like, let's
Yeah.
not get it twisted. The set design, fantastic.
Yes.
The
Hmm.
costumes, fantastic. The talent level
Yes.
it was top tier. Like it was so good. But the plot, like it just brings down the whole experience, which is kind of tragic, but also like it's the main like one of the main points of this musical that you're like going to see and you're like, and there are
It's
other
just
like
such a like
things that could have,
interesting
happened or whatever.
yeah, like we have Wizard of Oz, and then somebody was just like, you know what? What about their backstory? Which is like so fun, but
Yeah. The idea is fun and I don't know, it just could have been so much better than it like actually was. And I don't want to
yeah,
sound like a Wicked hater because I don't hate Wicked, but it's
right.
like I don't
Yeah.
know.
So I would
So
love to talk about a little bit about the movie because obviously it's not out yet. So we don't have
yeah.
full opinions.
I
But
did go on like a 10 to 15 minute like monologue to my roommate a couple weeks ago when I saw the teaser come out.
yeah.
She was like, "So what did you think?" I was like, "Well,
Yeah. Um, I don't know if we needed the movie personally.
I don't think we need two parts of the movie.
Oh my god, I forgot that they were doing that. No, 100%. That could be
It could be
one movie.
one an hour and 45-minute movie. Like
Mhm.
like it does not need to be that crazy. Um
100%.
I'm interested to see like what they do with it.
Mhm.
Um I'm excited for like the cast, like who is in it, but I don't know how they'll mix together, but I'm excited for like each individual like person
They all
cast
feel very
kind of.
separate, don't they? Like, they all
Yeah,
feel like, how are you guys gonna yeah.
exactly. Um this may be a hot take. I so like in the teaser that came out the most recent one, I think.
Mhm.
They have Cynthia singing like Defying Gravity in the background.
Are you gonna talk about the note?
I am. I'm gonna
Okay.
talk about the note. Like I have to. As like a
It's
music
gotta.
major, like I have to talk about it. So I like she's singing it or actually it's just the music, and then she just sings it at the end.
Mhm.
Um, so I'm like waiting. I'm like, oh, they're playing Defying Gravity. Like, what's it gonna be? What's it gonna be? Um, she sings it at the end, and I was like,
Mhm.
oh, like her
That
her
note changed lives for people. I mean, it's like the moment in Wicked.
her her voice like was not bad. Like, let's not get that
No,
twisted.
no.
Her singing voice is good. She just could not hit the note how it's supposed to be hit. And that is disappointing because like that is the moment in
Mhm,
Wicked. Like that, I'm pretty sure like Defying Gravity is like the ending of Act One, like
mhm, and then
before
there's,
it
like, an
goes on like
intermission usually.
intermission and then like Act
Mhm,
Two. So like that's the part, like that's when Alphaba is like, no, I'm gonna, defy gravity. I'm gonna do my thing. I'm gonna like be my person, like won't listen to the haters, blah, blah, blah. So like when we were all like looking forward to that note, oh wow, it like hurt because I was like, oh, I wanted it to be like like up there.
I mean, there's
Um,
compilations of everybody who's been in the Broadway, like, musical.
yeah,
They've compiled all of them, and all of
yeah,
the notes are, like, iconic, and they all have their moment,
yeah.
and it
Mm,
is very interesting. It makes me wonder because now I forgot they were doing the two-part thing, like, if they're gonna kinda end it there, and
yeah.
it's like, are you gonna end the movie? And also, why would you
We
put it
can
in the trailer if you're going to potentially kind of leave it the you know what I mean? It's kind of a weird we'll have to see, I guess, where they end it,
yeah.
but
Oh, I hope they
why would
don't
you kinda
end it.
spoil it like
That would
that?
be
Like,
literally crazy if they ended it there and then made you wait like however long between the two movies. Like
yeah,
that would be crazy.
I think
Um,
the thing I'm ready for all of this to be over already because of the
mm,
cultural impacts that it has already had on
mm-hmm.
pop culture,
I
specifically regarding
know.
Ariana and Ethan. It's like,
Yeah.
I'm
Mm-hmm.
over it
Mm-hmm.
already. Like, the movie's not even out. Like, we are gonna have to go through 2 whole press cycles. Like, I don't
Hopefully,
think I can
like,
do it.
hopefully, since like she like her love interest in the movie is like Jonathan Bailey at the beginning.
Maybe it'll be, like, them paired
Like
up,
it'll be
but
them. It'll be
still.
like Cynthia, Ariana, and Jonathan.
Uh-huh.
Like so, hopefully, it'll be like them. But like, oh yuck.
It's gonna be a long press
Gonna be a
road.
long time. Yeah. Um, what was I about to say? I can't remember. But I'm interested. Like, I'll be sat in the theaters. Like, I'll be there because I again have been waiting for the Wicked musical like movie to come out.
Yeah.
Um, since before like he was gonna be in it, but I'm nervous.
It's been a rough road recently for the movie
Yeah.
musicals.
Yeah.
Budgets are getting bigger, but the stories are not getting better.
Um, no, and like they could, they have again the budget to make it better, but oh, yikes!
I almost forgot about like
Gosh,
I
what
I
other
can't believe because that
ones?
one was like in my brain of like it's so topical, you know. But
It's just like I like to block it out until it like because we've known about it for so long. They've been like, we're
true.
filming, we're da 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 for like 2 years now. It feels like, and
It's been
like we
forever.
still have like 6 more months to go. It doesn't come out in like December or something.
Yeah, 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 yeah. Later this
So we
year,
still have like
November, December.
ages. Yeah, we still have like ages to go before the like movie comes out. So I feel like I block it out until I see like
Yeah.
some drama or something or like the teaser come out.
Hmm.
But I'm like, come on, y'all. Like
Yeah.
let's get it together.
That is so
Please.
wild. What else? I don't know. I don't have much to say. I was in a production of Annie in middle school.
Ah, who were you?
Orphan Annie. No, sorry.
Ah,
I was an orphan called Kate.
oh, first of all, I was like, you were the lead.
No, no,
You cannot play me like that.
I was just an orphan in the background, but it was fun. You know,
Okay,
we had little
love.
buckets and we were like pretending to like,
First of all, love. I was
yeah.
also in a production of Annie. My
Okay,
junior year.
vibes.
I obviously was too tall to be an orphan. So I was one of the housekeepers. I was like the second, like
Hmm.
there's Mrs. Pugh, who is like the main housekeeper, and then there's Mrs. Greer, who's like the number two in charge. So that's who I was. I got a cute little midi dress, like maid dress to wear, and I was like, here we
I
go.
love.
Yeah, I was also in just talk I was also in Guys and Dolls.
Yep.
I did the backstage, like I was a stagehand for Thoroughly
Mm,
Modern Millie.
okay.
Um I was in Les Mis and then I was in Annie. So
Okay.
those
Let's
were the
see.
ones.
I was in Schoolhouse Rock,
First
which
of all,
was
iconic.
a vibe actually. I actually had a lot of fun.
That's iconic.
Yeah. And then Annie, I was an orphan, and then Emperor's New Clothes. I was the tailor.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, so you have a big role.
I
You're in a
did have a
tour.
solo song. Is it does not exist anywhere for good
Dang.
reason.
We're good. What age were you when you were in this?
14.
I love this. I
Yeah.
love.
Yeah, I was like a little theater kid in middle school. So when I got
Oh,
to
I
high school,
love
things
it.
petered out for me. But yeah,
You said I'll
yeah,
let others have a try.
yeah.
And then,
Yeah. I know. What did I do? I was a jock in high school. That's
oh,
so
right,
I
right, right,
lived both
right.
lives. Yeah.
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 Our own Finn Hudson.
I mean, the varsity sports baby. I was out here.
So funny.
I had a jacket. Oh
So
man.
funny.
But yeah.
Um,
So I
love.
love a good musical. Love a good
Absolutely.
it's gotta
Uh,
mean something though. I can't be out. I'm not out here just watching anything and everything.
it has to like either mean something or like have somebody who I'm like obsessed with in it that I can
Yes. Yeah.
sit through the like crazy bad plot or something. Like
You are
I
so
have
right.
I have to have one little connection to it.
Yes. That's such a good point because
So
it can go so wrong so fast. Like
mm-hmm.
it can
Mm-hmm.
just be
It's literally all up to the casting directors. Like
yeah.
if they don't find somebody who's like that bitch, I need you to get it together, people.
Yeah.
Anyways,
Um,
Hollywood hire me as a casting director. Thank you.
honestly, I would love that's like my dream. Um,
Oh my gosh.
can't wait to see Water for Elephants one of these days and Hades Town. Those are I know Water for Elephants
Oh,
isn't out yet,
same.
but
Mm, mm,
generally, and then Hades Town, those are like the two right now
mm-hmm.
that are taking up some
Oh
space in
yeah,
the
no, I
brain.
definitely want to see Hades Town and I want to see Sweeney Todd on Broadway. So
Yes, yeah, got a little list going. So what a journey. I
I
don't even
know.
know. I feel like there's so much lore, but
We could do a part two of this, like another time Adia doesn't want to do.
that is so true.
We
Talk
just
about some
stay talking about musical
Tonys.
theater. Don't even get me started on the Tonys because all
We
we
didn't
have.
even West Side Story. We didn't even go
Stop.
there. I
There
mean,
were so many movie musicals that we did not mention. Like Seven
yeah.
Brides for Seven Brothers is part of my origin story. And I just like I can't even talk about it right now. So
Yeah,
we'll
yeah.
just have to come back for
Put a
part
bookmark.
two. Back for part two, probably at the end of April, everyone.
TBD, but
TBD, but
potentially.
probably there.
That'll give me some time to
Uh
catch up on some of these. I can maybe watch some if you have certain recommendations. We can go hate watch Cats and come back and have like a
oh my gosh. We'll just have a 30-minute discussion
an
of like
in-depth
minute by
discussion.
minute, like what we hated
Everything we
about it.
hated. Oh my God. And
I would
Ren.
love
I
to
mean,
do that
honestly,
actually.
Erin, there's so
There were
many.
so many that we didn't talk about.
I haven't seen Lion King, but I know that's like big. I mean, there's
I
just
saw
like
Lion King on Broadway in like the fourth row and it was life changing.
I heard it was life-changing. That's the thing. I've
Mm-hmm.
never watched it, but I've just heard I mean, there's
Mm-hmm. It's just so
documentaries about
beautiful.
it.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Um, okay, so part
The
two
bookmark.
pending, y'all. Part two pending.
Oh my
Should we do
God,
our
that's
loves and
wild.
icks?
We should. Do you want to start us off? I'm gonna take a sip of my
Okay.
mellow yellow from AMC.
First of all, that's massive. I love that. Um, to keep on theme with every love of mine for the past like couple weeks being Bridgerton, the new Luke Newton pictures that came out this week. Girl, those just had me
Yeah.
shook. And that is my only love for this week.
Oh.
My ex. I was like trying to think if I had another love, but I was like, No, these icks. One is very general. It's men who post gym videos, but really edit the videos of themselves in the gym and like put songs to it in the background. I saw one pop up on my Instagram from like someone I follow, and I was like, this is a yuck. And he was like staring directly into the camera and trying to do a mug. And like, I know this is his brand. Like, he does this all the time. Like, he does like workout, like, or he'll like go to the beach with his like crew and he's like, oh, look at me, I'm strong, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, yeah.
Yeah.
Um, and then the last one is just JoJo Siwa terrorizing my
Oh my
timeline.
god.
Her I Heart like awards outfit. And I was like, what are you doing?
Yeah.
Like, I don't know if this is like, I know that you're like, oh, this is a serious song, like this, I'm coming out with music, but like, is this a bit? Because it like everything that you're doing
Honestly,
seems like a bit. But
it
then I
does
saw like,
feel like it.
yeah, I saw JoJo on like a clip of JoJo on Nick Vile's like podcast. And she
Mm-hmm.
was like, yeah, like all these people making fun of me, like blah, blah, blah. Like it really hurts. It's so sad because I like tried my best, blah, blah, blah. And then like James Charles like made fun of her, but then like went to her to like texted her and was like, can I post this? Like, are you okay with it? Like, because he kind of over exaggerated like her like
Mm-hmm.
dancing that she was doing. And she was like, okay. And then Tana Mojo like kind of made fun of it and then but didn't tell Jojo, and Jojo saw it and was like, what the heck, I thought we were friends. And then Tana just writes ha 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 ha, like in response to her sending that.
Yeah.
So I'm like, is this a bit, or are your feelings actually getting hurt just to like whatever? But
I know, because her whole persona feels ingenuine, like even before the rebrand, like because she was very
yes,
like I mean, she's been on reality TV since she was a kid. So like a lot of
yeah,
it just feels like she's on like
mm,
most of the time. So I don't know. The whole
mm-hmm,
rebrand does not feel as real. And it somebody was
yeah,
like, she wants to be Lady Gaga, but it's giving like WWE. And it's like,
it
it
literally,
was
I
giving.
saw someone say that it was giving Mr. Schuster like on the like Kiss episode when he like
Yes,
dressed,
I saw that
and I
too.
was
Yeah.
like, yikes, true.
Yeah.
Yikes, so true.
So I do
Um,
wonder, because like, I mean, I
mhm,
think the song generally, obviously it's a real song. It's like
mhm,
semi-serious, but everything else that comes with it
yeah,
feels like
yeah,
up played. I don't know, played up.
yeah, yeah.
It's weird.
No, it was like her putting like, okay, in final rehearsals for Karma, like
Hmm.
in da da da, and I'm like, this is all too much. It's over exaggerated, is what you like.
Hmm.
It's just crazy, but
Yeah. And I know she was like, I want to be the next like Miley, like I want my Miley moment, but it
mm,
feels ingenuine because like Miley did
mm-hmm,
it because she truly was like changing and like
mm-hmm,
growing and like you saying that you want to do that
mm-hmm,
kind of negates it a little. I don't know, even if
mm-hmm,
you are serious about it. So I don't know,
mm-hmm.
kind of weird.
Yeah.
I appreciate that that's one of your picks for the
It
week.
was it was a big ick because I keep like,
Yeah.
even if I'm like not interested, not interested, it keeps popping up and
Yeah.
traumatic.
Nikki told me she blocked JoJo and she's still seeing it because people are reacting and, like
Yeah.
whatnot. So
Yeah. It's a, I mean,
there's
it's
no
a very
escaping.
timely thing. So it's like,
It'll be gone soon,
yeah.
hopefully. Yeah. So I'm going to start with my icks because I only have one. So kind of
Okay.
opposite. So we all did White Boy of the Month rankings for TikTok, the three of us. And it's sad that she's not here to answer for her crimes, but Adia put Paul Mescal at number 9 and said, I don't know who this man is. And I was personally offended by that.
TikTok
Um,
obviously thought you were bullying her because it said like, it was like you, Nikki, and so, like, I can't remember. Was
maybe
it Devin or
Brie.
was it
Oh
like, yeah,
yeah.
Brie or someone? But it was like, you guys all commented like that, and then our TikTok was like anti-bullying. What? Like there's I was like, oh my gosh.
No, like I love that man. I feel like he's always on my feed and he's always being posted and like I feel like I'm reposting him. And so the fact that she just like didn't even recognize him at all, I was like, where are you?
She's just on Hockey Talk.
You're right.
Just there.
But I need her to learn that man.
We'll
I love
we'll bring
him.
it. I feel like I just learned that man,
Okay.
but
And
and
I was
still
like,
it's like it has to be a certain picture of him. Like
I mean,
you
yeah, I
showed
do
me too
get it. But
many.
like when I was looking at the photo, I'm like, it's kind of her type. He's got like a mustache in the photo. Like, what's the
That's okay. That's
deal?
real. Like all of those white boys, I thought she would be like, yeah, yeah, yeah. And she's like,
Yeah.
I don't know. And I was like, girl, what? This is your filter. This is
Yeah.
for you.
Yeah. So I mean, yeah, whatever. That I was like personally offended. Anyway,
Yeah.
moving on to my loves. I'm bringing back a love that I meant to include last week because I didn't have my notes in front of me, but it needs to be said. I am still obsessed with that TikTok that Lenny Kravitz made at Bucky's.
First of all, him strutting through the Bucky's,
And it's just
iconic.
like a compilation, like random shots of him like picking out
I'm just
drinks and
like,
like meeting people. It's just like I'm
so good.
obsessed.
It's
I
so good.
love like
It was
I posted that
I,
on Instagram.
I know, and that's how I saw it for the first time. I said, wait a minute, let me find Lenny Kravitz on TikTok. Like it. Give him
Yeah,
that view.
I
So good.
reposted it. Like that meant a lot to me. So thank you
Mm-hmm.
so much, Lenny
That's
Kravitz.
very like Bucky's is very like Katie Core. So like makes
Which is what
sense.
I've never been there. I mean,
Uh,
yeah, Adia's the one
was
who loves Bucky's. She's in a Facebook group.
aren't you the one with like the Bucky's like ornament though?
Yes.
Like
Yes.
from your
My parents got
mom.
that from
Yes,
me.
yes, yes,
Yep.
yes, yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I would love to
Maybe that's why I
go.
thought it
And
was your core.
I love a good gas station too, like
Oh, for sure. Like a
Wawa,
yeah.
Sheetz. So like
Mm-hmm.
it is Katie Court, besides the fact that I've never been there, but
Yeah.
the
the
vibes are
the
there.
vibe is definitely giving Katie. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. And I'm fine with that. So I'm just like, damn, like Lenny, you hit with this TikTok.
He really
Somebody made it
did.
for you for sure, but I don't care. Um, my next love, this is also, I feel like very Katie Court. We went to a NASCAR race on Sunday.
I love.
I was living my best life, Erin. Like
Mhm.
we
You
got
looked
there,
so
so
happy in the pictures you like posted.
I was literally living my best life. So we got to go because shout out to our friends Brian and Laura. They had some extra tickets and they invited us because we've talked about NASCAR before with them. Like they go yearly and we were like, I would love to go. Scott's never even like watched NASCAR or whatever, but I grew up on NASCAR and
Mm.
at this race, I'm like unlocking memories from my
Yeah.
childhood of like
Yeah.
we would leave church and my dad would put the radio on to see who was winning the race. We would go over to his Navy buddy's house and like play with their kids while they got day drunk and watched the 400 laps around the track. So like
I love
my
that.
dad, yeah, my dad used to go to the races and he'd bring home t-shirts for us to wear. So like NASCAR like was in my life.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah,
And
yeah.
since moving out, I don't watch it. I mean, like
It's
whatever.
not you're not a stan anymore? No, I'm kidding.
But I
You're
still
like
knew
in
I
deep.
still knew some stuff.
Yeah.
But we were there and like you go and you tailgate. So we were just like literally like our friends had like a grill set up in the parking lot. We played
Okay.
cornhole. We played like I don't know if you've ever played like there's a game where you can like hit nails into a stump. Like we were just like I
Mm,
was living my best life. And then
iconic.
the race started and I was just like, okay, so before we left, my dad was like, oh, when I used to go, I mean, this was like 10, 15 years ago, you could bring in your own drinks. You could
Mm,
like, he's like, it's a very casual vibe. And I was like, it's
mm,
2024. There's like no way. There is minimal security. They like check your bag and you can bring in drinks. You could do what,
mm.
like, they're literally, that's like
I
America. Like,
love that is
I,
America.
I felt so like free,
You were
a
like
little
USA baby. No.
yeah, I was like a little scared because the guns, but I mean, they did
Yeah.
like wand us down barely.
They were like, "Bloop, okay, next."
Yeah, yeah, but it was like I literally had the time of my life.
I love
Um,
that.
so back on, I'm following them on Twitter
I
now.
love that. Okay, yeah. A
I'm
new
wearing my
personality.
NASCAR shirt
Okay, love.
because I was like, I have to get a shirt. Like when I was
Yeah.
growing up, my favorite was Casey King because he was number 9. Nine's my favorite
Mm.
number. So I was like, who's number 9 right now? Chase Elliott. So I got apparently he's like the most famous one right now. Anyway, I'm like going on too much of
Oh.
a tangent, but I love NASCAR. And my last love is a very recent addition because I just found this out like an hour ago. Dune Messiah, the third Dune movie, is
Love.
in production or like pre-production or like
Yeah,
has been greenlit
okay. Has been
basically.
confirmed
So
that it's happening.
thank God because
Love.
we need Paul Atreides like arc to
Mhm.
finalize and get the
Mhm.
full scope of his rule and whatnot. So love.
I love that.
Yeah. Sat in the theater for Monkey Man, like, oh,
Ah,
Twitter.
gosh, I'm
We'll
off
catch up.
camera. I'll ask you about my game.
Yeah. But
Oh
I think that about
gosh.
wrap us up for this
I
week.
think
So
so. That
thank
was
you
a fun
everyone for
episode.
listening. I had a great time.
I had a great time.
Yip yip yapping.
I know.
Thank you to all of our listeners and stay tuned for potential part 2 one of these days.
Literally.
Bye.
Bye.